house guests, happy Labor Day, and welcome to today's Big Brother 24 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a relaxing day so far. I've been doing this. Okay. Our house guests of the day are Jarrett Mays and Jose Luis Cortez. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, we still have a few weeks left. So check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Yay! And I want to thank Saturday's Super Chatters before we get started, because that's another fantastic way to support our channel. So Janine Honberger, Arjun Wrights, Carolyn Harmon, Skylar Brown, Ali Gonzalez, Sarah Nichols, Robert Smith, Norm the Cat, Music Lover 21, Fueled by Intentions, Shane Wright, and Super Mommy for Tennessee. Thank you all so much for your super chats. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's dive in, right? When we left off the other day. Oh wait, and we have one today. Jody Cortez, thank you. Jody says happy Labor Day and oh hi and yawn action. Resisting. Let's see if we can make it through this whole thing without a yawn. I'm not very confident. But anyway, when we left off, Michael had put Terrence and Alyssa up on the block. Terrence is Michael's target, and Terrence is not happy about it. I mean, I wouldn't be either. But Terrence has been throwing Turner under the bus for the failed plan last week to backdoor Michael. He's like, I wasn't the HOH. There was nothing that I could do about that, blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to say that Turner was the one responsible for that. And Michael knows in his heart that Turner was involved in that plan. But Michael made that agreement with Turner last week that if he put Kyle up on the block, Michael would not put him up this week. So, yeah, Terrence also was essentially threatening to poison the jury against Michael because of how everything played out with the Kyle situation. Terrence is not happy with the timeline of all of that. And Terrence is saying his game will start in the jury house. And he's telling Michael, look, you can win all the competitions you want in here. You may be winning in here, but it's going to be a different beast when you've got to face the jury. So even after all that, Michael's like, still targeting Terrence. Okay, so we saw that they drew for the POV players, and everyone except Turner was playing, but everybody was freaking shook because Terrence got house guest choice, and he picked Taylor over Turner. That is unexpected because we know that Terrence is not a Taylor fan, and he's pretty close with Turner. So his explanation to Turner was, if you win the veto, I don't want you to have to choose between me and Alyssa. I know you're close to both of us. And he was telling Taylor, I want to show you that I F with you. Like, we're good. This is like a peace offering, me giving you the chance to play for the veto. So if you look at the lineup, it seems like everyone except for Terrence and Alyssa would leave the nominations the same. Okay, so they had the POV competition, and the feeds were down for a long... There you go. Excuse me. The feeds were down for a long time because it was BB Comics. Oh my goodness. Zingbot and BB Comics in the same week. How exciting. We're going to talk more about the comics in a bit, but like, guess who won? Can you guess? I'm sure you already know by now, but it was Michael. Another win for Michael, another Giovanni. So Michael now holds the record for most POV wins in a single season, and that record now is 6. And he is tied with Janelle for the most competition wins in a single season with 9. Dang, that's a big deal. And there are still quite a few competitions left to be played. Crazy. So if you're not familiar with this competition, you have to go on a zip line and look at all of these comics. Each comic is based on one of the house guests from the season. And you have to note the order of the comics so you can line your own up in the same order. And then you have to spot the differences between 2 different options for each comic. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun to watch, and I just look forward to seeing the comics every year. So Big Brother gave the house guests some ice vests to wear to keep them cool, because I think it's been like super, super hot in California lately. So I'm glad they're keeping them cool. Apparently it made a big difference. But after the POV was over, Terrence says he is not giving up. He does plan to campaign to stay this week. You need 3 votes to stay, 2 votes to tie. And he's hoping that he can get at least Monty and Taylor. Good luck with that. But anyway, Monty and Turner are glad that nominations are likely going to be staying the same this week, because that means they will be safe. They were a little bit worried, like, what would Michael do if one of the nominees wins the veto? Because Michael's not going to want to put up Brittany. He's not going to want to put up Taylor. So it would have to be either Monty or Turner going up there. And then who knows what would happen if one of them was up on the block. So they're glad that they're not going to be in that position. But Monty, again, is like, Michael beat us again. He's really hoping for a competition that he will have more of a chance to beat Michael in. And he is yearning for that one that they've done a few times now, where they shoot like slippery stuff at you, like the squids or whatever, like not real squids, but fake squids. And you have to like catch them, and they show it in slow-mo because you get hit in the face and all that. So that's one that he's really banking on, because he thinks that he will be able to beat Michael in that. All right. So Michael confirms to Brittany that he will be leaving the nominations the same, and Terrence is still his target. And Michael is planning to mention in his POV speech that Terrence threatened to poison the jury against him. And this is so smart of him to include this in his speech, because the jury does get to see the speeches at all the ceremonies. So they're going to know what Terrence is up to before he can be up to it. So smart thinking on his part. But anyway, throughout the night, the house guests were talking a lot about all the different comics, and I'm going to take you through them now. So we know kind of what they were about. Paloma did not get a comic because she self-evicted, so she wasn't in this. Jasmine's, I believe, is called the Sprainiac, and I think there might have been a muffin on there. That's fun. Indy's the Brazilian waxer. Amira, I thought I heard them say Abira, but like I don't know what the significance is of that. I don't know what that is supposed to be. Maybe I heard wrong. I don't know. Pooch's comic is a dog. That's fun. Michael's is the copycat, and he was very excited about this. He loved it because his cats made it into the comic. That's cute to have like your actual real life pet be in it with you. Adorable. Monty's is Monty Twisto, like the Count of Monte Cristo. Alyssa's, honestly, I don't know. Alyssa is the only one that I have no idea what hers was. I thought I heard Taylor mention something about Melissa, like malice, malicious, like I don't know. I mean, what can they say for her? I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, Brittany's was Brit Flea, the head itch in charge. We're gonna talk more about Brittany's in a bit. Terrence, DJ Snow Time. I guess he's got some chill beats. Taylor was something to do with potato chips, I guess. Turner, something with rugs, peace and rugs. Joe had his abs. I guess he was just like a muscle guy. I don't know. Some of these I don't know exactly what. Oh, I got a mosquito bite. What exactly the comic was, like what the character was, but we got like a little bit of information about it. Like they said Nicole's was really scary looking, but I don't know what hers was exactly. Daniel apparently was really jacked in his. Yeah, and then there was lots of talk, and there's still lots of talk about Kyle's comic, Rep Kyle Dysfunction. As in like erectile dysfunction. Oh my god. So I guess they turned him into a reptile, and he had like this long tongue. And that's brutal. That's brutal that they called him out for his freaking erectile dysfunction. Holy shit. But all the house guests are wondering like what's going on there, because they've heard that Kyle and Alyssa have gotten down and dirty in the house, but they didn't hear about the 10 seconds of it all. So they're like, oh my god, like what's going on here? Big Brother wouldn't just like put that as his comic for no reason. So they're asking Alyssa, like, does Kyle have erectile dysfunction? And she's like, no, what? Oh my god, no. He's got some issues there. But anyway, I can't believe they went that hard on that comic. Woo! Can't wait to see what it looks like. All right, so that's the gist of all the comics. So Brittany and Turner had a game chat late that night. It was like 5 a.m. So early the next morning. Oh my God. So Brittany is telling Turner, you should go through each of the remaining house guests and think about how you would do against each of them in the final two. Because we really got to start thinking who we want to go to the end with. So Turner's asking Brittany, like, who do you think that you can win against? And we know from Brittany's diary room last night that Brittany wants to go to the final two with Michael, win or lose. Like, she wants to go to the end with him. She's super loyal to him, even though he would kick her ass. So Brittany says, I don't think I have a lot of options because most of my game has been tied to Michael, right? So what am I going to be able to claim for myself in front of the jury? She says, if you look at everybody else, Taylor, she's got an amazing story. It would be tough to beat her. A lot of people would want to reward her for making it through what she's been through. Monty has played the cleanest and most loyal game. Alyssa's got a lot of friends in jury. Plus, it's going to be a big deal if she makes it to the end without having been in the Leftovers alliance, the main dominant alliance. Michael obviously has won so many competitions, made big moves. And then, like, Terrence is leaving this week, so he's not really going to factor into this. But Brittany here is trying to build a case for Turner to pick her for final two. She's trying to look as appealing as possible to go to the final two with. And it's funny because Turner is basically like Brittany's number one target right now. She wants him out. She feels like he is a threat to win these competitions and target her Michael. But she's trying to set herself up here that everyone will want to bring her to the final two. So Turner says, I'm going to be I'm going to be fighting hard for this next HOH because he says, if I don't win it, I think I'm probably going to be going up on the block against Alyssa. We were not part of Big Brochella. You know, we're Dire Fest people. So there's a good chance that I'm going to be going up next to her. And Brittany's like, yes, but if you win the HOH, you can take a shot that I can't necessarily take, meaning Michael. And they agree, yeah, no one can win in the end against Michael in the final two. He's just got too good of a resume at this point. He's been so dominant in competitions. So Brittany's like trying to tell Turner, like, yeah, you might need to take that shot against Michael. Brittany is saying this to like everyone who isn't Michael. So they also discuss the possibility of voting out Alyssa this week instead of Terrence. And the reasoning here, they feel like Terrence would be a very clear target for next week, whereas people would maybe feel bad about putting Alyssa up again. Maybe she would just fly under the radar and go all the way to the end. Plus, it's making Turner kind of like scared that Alyssa is basically making final twos and final threes with everyone, right? Alyssa has a final two with Turner. She's got a final two, or she had a final two with Kyle. She's got all these deals everywhere. So Turner also argues Terrence would be a good person to go up against in final two because who's going to vote for Terrence to win? You know, what has he really done so far this season besides take out Joseph? And he's not proud of that. But anyway, Brittany's not into this. She does not want Terrence staying this week. She does not want Terrence going to the end. She says the Leftovers would be pissed off if Terrence gets dragged to the end. We've got to have two Leftovers in the final two. And she says it's probably just not worth it to go against Michael's wishes this week. Let's just get rid of Terrence like he wants, right? Like, let's just go with that. All right. So Turner then proposes a final four with himself, Brittany, Taylor, and Monty. And he's like, we'd all have a chance to win if Michael is out of here because as of right now, Michael is winning this thing. So again, Brittany doesn't seem super into this idea either because she does not want to go to the final four with three strong players, especially when none of them are Michael. You know, she's okay with going to the end with Michael, but she doesn't want it to be her against Turner, Taylor, and Monty. I don't think she really sees maybe she sees Taylor taking her to the end, but like out of the rest of them, so she's not into that. But anyway, let's talk about Sunday morning, which was only a few hours later because they were up late on Saturday night. So Brittany and Michael are chatting in the storage room, and Brittany says, I had a very interesting conversation with Turner. And I get the feeling that he's trying to feel me out the way that Monty was about potentially taking you out soon. And Brittany is really suspicious that Turner and Monty are still working together very closely. This is something that she's talked about so much already this week. Like, are Turner and Monty working closely together? Because they want to know who Turner or Monty would target if they were to win HOH. It's Michael. But Brittany brings up how Turner was saying that maybe Alyssa should be the one to go this week. And she says, I told him I'm doing what the house wants this week, right? I'm doing what Michael wants. So then they talk about Monty, and they agree Monty is playing such a clean game. He's so loyal, but he's loyal until something else comes up. So if Monty got the opportunity to take a shot at Michael, he would probably go for it. So Brittany says, worst case scenario, Turner and Monty are working together, and they're just waiting for Michael to slip up so that they can take a shot at him the first chance they get. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's happening. So Brittany's asking Michael, does that change anything that you do this week? As far as maybe using the veto, putting somebody else up, taking out a bigger target. And Michael says, we really need to talk with Taylor and Monty, right? They're supposed to have a final four, Michael, Brittany, Taylor, and Monty. And Michael wants to know if they're actually still with that final four. Michael says they're probably going to just tell us what we want to hear, but at least we can gauge if they're lying to us or not, if they're being honest with us. Everyone's targeting you except for Brittany, it seems like. Just saying. But Brittany says if we do go after another target, unfortunately, that means that Terrence would still be here, and he is definitely targeting you. They don't want to underestimate Terrence in competitions because, he's won a few now. It's not like he's not winning anything. So they don't want to take a chance on Terrence. So Brittany says our strategy now is basically just win to the end, right? Because people are just waiting for Michael to slip up so that they can take a shot at him. And if they can't get Michael, probably going to go for Brittany, right? So Brittany says, if I win HOH, everybody else is going to expect me to take a shot at you, but I am not going to do that. Yeah, not for a million years. I don't see it. So then they start discussing some scenarios for this week, and they're like, we could just make the preemptive strike. We're not sure if Monty would come after us next week or not, but maybe we just use the veto on Alyssa, pull Alyssa in with us and put Monty up in her place and then vote Monty out. Oh, okay. Michael is again saying, though, we need to talk to everyone. We need to try and figure out who's lying. Where does everyone stand? What's the dealio? So they do identify that Monty, Turner, and Terrence seem to be targeting Michael the most out of everyone that's left. But they also agree, like, Alyssa and Taylor could also possibly take the shot if they were to win HOH. So pretty much everybody's after Michael. But Michael makes the argument, if we do take Monty out this week, everybody is then going to target me next week, right? Because right now with Monty and Michael both in there, there's a chance that, maybe somebody will go after Monty instead of Michael, since they are both two big targets, two big competitors. So Michael says if we stick with taking out Terrence, maybe people will go for Monty instead of me. We would still be good with Taylor. We'd still be good with Alyssa. And Turner was telling me that he would not target me next week. And Michael figures Turner would probably go back on that anyway, but at least there's a chance that he wouldn't if Michael sticks with the leftovers for now. So Michael also just does not want people to be tempted to drag Terrence to the final two. So he kind of just wants to take Terrence out of the equation here. All right. So then a little later, Brittany and Taylor are chatting in the backyard, and they're talking about Alyssa because Alyssa has been saying that she wants to work with the girlies until the end. So Brittany's wondering, is Alyssa working with Turner though? Like, who would Alyssa target if she were to win HOH. And Taylor says, I guess it would be Monty or Michael, right? Because she's saying she wants to work with the girls. She's obviously close with Turner. But she says, let's be real, she's probably going to target Michael. So then they discuss Alyssa's final 3 proposal. All women, all people who were in trouble week 1. And Brittany and Taylor agree they can at least entertain this idea. Because if they're telling Alyssa, like, yeah, let's do it, and Alyssa wins HOH, they feel like they'll be good with her, right? So they're like, if it comes in handy for us, then it comes in handy. We can always go back on it if we decide that we're going to go down a different path. So Taylor says, I truly think, though, that Alyssa would prefer to go to the final 3 with us. We would be all like evenly matched. So Brittany's asking Taylor, what do you think Michael's future is in this game? Brittany is trying to gauge here if Taylor would take the shot at Michael if she were to win HOH, because she's been getting the vibes lately that Taylor would be cool with somebody else taking a shot at Michael, but not necessarily that Taylor would take that shot herself. And we heard in Taylor's diary room last night, she was saying she would love to be the person that takes out Michael, and she would love to have that on her resume. Would she actually do it? I don't know. That would be brutal. But anyway, Taylor says Michael, let's be real, is probably going to have to win every POV or HOH in order to stay to the end, right? Because people are coming after him. And Brittany says, I don't think there's a single person other than me and you who would not take the shot at this point. And even that can only go so far for us, because like we can't beat him in the end. And Brittany's saying it makes sense, obviously, for everyone else to want to take that shot as soon as possible, but it makes sense for us to keep him longer since we're closer to him and he is good for our games at this point. So Brittany is wondering how close Monty and Turner are. You know, we've heard her bring this up a bunch of times now. And Taylor says, well, from what I've heard from Monty, it seems like he's good with the 2 of us because he would like to see Turner take out Michael and then we take out Turner. So the final 3 would be Brittany, Taylor, and Monty. So Brittany says, if we win HOH next week, there would be a lot of pressure on us to take out Michael. What do we do? Brittany is thinking next week is too soon. And Taylor's like, yeah, but I'm not sure we'd have the opportunity again. You know, what if we don't go for it and then whoops, Michael wins this whole thing. So Taylor says she's not really sure at this point what they should do, but she wants to make that decision with Brittany either way. She feels like they have a lot of options right now. So they're feeling pretty good about that. All right. So then a few minutes later, Terrence and Taylor are chatting in the backyard, and Terrence says he's been thinking about it, and he figured out Brittany's comic. Remember, Brittany is Brit Flea, and Terrence says, think about it. What do fleas do? Fleas attach themselves to someone, and they get carried. So Taylor's like, because if you think about it, okay, there's Big Brother is saying that Brittany is like a flea because she's attached herself to Michael. She's riding his coattails, and she's getting carried through the game. Dang! So after Terrence explains that, Big Brother plays the zing audio. So it's basically confirmation that that's what they were going for. So Taylor and Terrence are cracking up. They are laughing. And Taylor says, Big Brother, you are crazy this year. They had a lot of fun with that. But anyway, brutal. I feel like I've said brutal quite a few times in today's spoiler because it is. But later, Brittany and Alyssa are chatting in the HOH room, and Brittany says to Alyssa, you're good this week. You don't have to worry. Like, you have the votes. So Alyssa's like, okay, cool, because I do feel good. She feels like she has Brittany, Taylor, Turner. Michael has said that she's not the target this week. So she's feeling great. So Brittany also lets Alyssa know Taylor wants to talk to you more like about working together moving forward. So eventually Taylor does join them in the HOH room, and Alyssa's asking, how do we get ourselves to the end, like as a 3? And Brittany points out after this week, it's going to be 3 men versus 3 women. Oh my God, we're back to the gender wars again, not this. So 3 men versus 3 women, and Michael's not going to be able to play for HOH. So it's really going to be 3 women versus 2 men going up for HOH. And they feel like they've got pretty strong odds to win this next HOH. So Brittany says, again, Turner's probably going to be our biggest competition. They're surprised that Monty has not really performed better in competitions. You know, they see he's this big buff dude. They thought he was going to be winning a lot more. So Alyssa says she would just love to see the 3 women in the final 4 with Michael. And they talk about just how amazing it would be to have 3 women in final 3. They're saying like, oh, this has never been done before. I mean, it has, but sure, if you want. And they're just so excited. They're saying they're getting chills just thinking about it. So Alyssa tells Taylor and Brittany, if I win HOH, I would not put either of you up, so you don't have to worry about that. So then they're speculating again about how close Turner and Monty are. Brittany cannot stop talking about this. And Alyssa's like, oh, they were in the pound together with Kyle and Joseph. Also, when the house was reunited after the split week, Bowie, Monty and Turner immediately met up, and they were talking about what happened and filling each other in on all that. So clearly they are quite close. And at this point, the women are talking about how they're just hoping that the guys will take each other out, and then the women can get to final 3 together. Are any of them actually committed to this? I feel like Alyssa's making deals with everybody. Taylor and Brittany are making deals with everybody. Like, everybody has something going with everybody at this point. So I don't know how serious they are about it, but I guess they do feel like they would each have the best chance of winning against each other. So anyway, later, Big Brother gives the house guests some wine, and they had a bunch of other beers and ciders saved up. Oh boy. So this was about to get litty lit. They cheers to the final 7. I honestly don't know if I think they still saved a bunch of stuff. I don't think they got like messy last night because nothing like that crazy happened. But they kumbaya'd for a while. They hung out for a while. And then there was some more game last night. So Michael ended up having one-on-one conversations with everyone in the HOH room last night. And the pre-POV ceremony one-on-ones, I was just getting some Kylan flashbacks, and it was like freaking me out a little bit. I was like, don't do this, please. Are we going to have more one-on-one meetings about the one-on-one meetings? So honestly, most of these one-on-ones were pretty standard. Alyssa and Terrence were saying, oh, I could be good for your game, yada, yada, yada. And Michael was letting them both know, like, he is leaning towards leaving the nominations the same. And they're like, okay, cool, I get it. So then I have to talk about Turner's chat with Michael, because this one was a bit more interesting. Turner, first of all, Turner lets Michael know he is on board with Michael leaving the nominations the same and Terrence going this week. He says, I'm totally fine with that. I'm fine with whatever, as long as it's not me or one of the leftovers going. That's great. So Turner's claiming if he wins HOH next week, he would target Alyssa. What do you know? Earlier in the week, Turner told Michael, if you don't put me up this week, I will not put you up next week. Like, you don't have to worry about that. But, I mean, he was ready to backdoor Michael last week. So how serious is he about that? But they agree that they would love to see the remaining leftovers in the final 5. So Turner says, I feel like I don't really know where I stand anymore. You know, things really got jumbled up when the house was split. You know, you got the Brochella people, you've got just a few Dire Fest people left. So he feels like even though he hasn't won as many competitions as Michael, people are probably going to try and target him since he has won quite a few now. He's been a strong competitor. So he promises again that he will not target Michael if he wins HOH. And Michael jokes, yeah, we just trade the HOH key back and forth, you know? And Turner loves that. Like, he's actually kind of really into that. So Turner says, look, I feel good with you. I feel good with Monty. I think that could be a chaotic but fun group. You know, we could just win all the rest of the competitions and get to the end. And Michael's like, okay, I am open to the 3 of us getting together and talking, of course. So then Turner, this is where things get pretty interesting. Turner starts spilling about his conversation with Brittany from the night before, the really late night one at like 5 a.m. So Turner says, all right, Brittany told me that she's close with you, but she doesn't want to get second place. And she feels like she can't beat you and that we need to find a way to take you out. So Turner says, Brittany also told me that she is forming some sort of a group with Alyssa and Taylor. Why did Brittany tell Turner that? Like, what? What are you doing? So Turner is taking this info and running with it. Turner also says Brittany tried to make final two with me. Like, she's just all over the place right now. So at this point, Turner brings up again, it would be great if the two of us got together with Monty. That could be a great alliance. We could win all the competitions easily and take everyone else out. So Michael says, yeah, I mean, you make a good point, because if one of us guys were to go, the other two are just going to become the new targets. They're just going to get picked off. So we really need each other if we want to have any chance of winning this thing. We are all in a similar situation at this point. So they agree they're going to discuss this further, and they will. But later, Michael and Brittany have a chat, and I have to mention, Michael did not spill about the conversation with Turner and Turner's proposed guys alliance. But Brittany continues to be messy. She did drop that she and Taylor have final threes with Michael, Monty, and Alyssa. And she has told Michael over and over again that she only really wants to go to the end with him, right? All these other things that she's setting up are BS. But at the same time, they're not really BS, right? Because Brittany is trying to guarantee that someone will be bringing her to the final two, Michael or anybody else. So it can't feel good to Michael knowing that Brittany has all of these other options, and like everybody is targeting Michael. So he's got Brittany, and Brittany has potentially all these other options. So anyway, Turner talks over his new plan with Monty, and Monty is on board to work with Michael. Oh my God. For now. Anyway, not necessarily all the way to the end, but potentially at least for next week, they're not going to target Michael. That's what they're saying. They're saying their biggest targets moving forward for now are Taylor and Alyssa. Oh my God. So they're getting really threatened by this potential girls' alliance forming. But they feel like Taylor and Alyssa are both huge threats to win a lot of votes with the jury. And Taylor is a pretty good competitor, so they want to get her out of here. All right. So anyway, today they had the POV ceremony. Michael did not use the veto, which means Alyssa and Terrence are still up on the block, and Terrence is still Michael's target. So after the ceremony, Michael, Monty, and Turner, they all meet up in the HOH room to have their big chat together. And Turner's like, all right, I already filled both of you in on this individually, but just to sum things up again, the girls are trying to form an alliance to take out Michael. I mean, not quite. That's not quite what's happening. The girls, I think, genuinely do want to go to the Final Four with Michael, but then they're thinking maybe we cut him there, right? But Monty says Turner says the best thing for the three of us is to work together. And Monty says the girls are trying to get us to target each other, and it makes more sense for us to protect each other. They realize that these three guys, they have 6 HOH wins between them, and the girls have 1. So they feel like, okay, if we work together, we can just steamroll to the end and take these girls out. So they agree. They have a few days to decide what they want to do with the vote this week. They can feel the girls out, see how serious the girls are about working together, because maybe it's just BS and they don't have to worry about this anyway. But they're hoping that they can get an idea by bringing up potentially voting Alyssa out this week and see how Taylor and Brittany react to that. If they're really against it, it might show like, okay, these girls are working together and this is something that we need to take seriously. So these guys did not name their alliance, but they did put their hands in the laziest way possible. They were just all sitting separately, and they're just all like from afar. they're not even trying anymore. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I'm curious how serious Michael is about this plan. I would guess not very. I don't think that Michael wants to go to the end with Turner and Monty. I mean, there's too strong of competitors. Michael wants to be able to win out, and make these decisions himself. And not get screwed over in the last moment, right? So I think Michael is just entertaining this for right now because he wants to have options the same way that Brittany's got a ton of options. But I don't think he's super serious about it. Like, if it's up to him, I don't see him sticking with Turner and Monty long term.
Oh,
Hello!
Hi.
Yes, it's a holiday.
Celebrate.
Yeah. So we've got 3 days.
Working on Labor Day.
No, that's such a bummer. You have no idea. I'm not going to get into it. But we've got 3 days left until the eviction. As of now, Terrence is still going. I did see that Monty and Taylor were having some big discussion, like, as I was preparing for the spoilers. So I've not heard it yet. I don't know. But I know he was trying to gauge how close the women are and if they're working together or not. And it's so funny because I think he was, like, going into it being like, I'm going to be all subtle about it and, like, finesse the situation. But I think he was basically just like, so are you guys all working together? But we'll talk about that tomorrow. So anyway, I want to thank today's super chatters because we really, really do appreciate you. So Jody Cortez, thank you so much. Christian Torres, thank you so much. And Christian says, hope you and your mom are having a relaxing day. I'm not, but I'm glad that I'm going to be done after this for the day. Christian says, I caught the live. Yay. Who do you think will be going in the double? That's a good question. And thank you for being here. Bless you. Who's going to be going in the double? I think Terrence. And then I think it's possible that there could be a big move happening during this double because I think when they see, like, oh crap, it's a double, they're going to want to do something.
Fight hard. Take a big move.
Yeah, I think if Michael does not win this veto, or if, like, one of his friends doesn't win veto, like, if it's not Michael or Brittany winning veto, Michael could be in trouble. They might just throw all these plans out the door and be like, hey, this is our chance to take out Michael. So I think there's a good chance that he's going. But, I mean, he could also very easily win the veto himself and keep himself safe. But that's a good question. Vincent Campos, thank you so much for the super chat. And Vincent says, love to hear that Michael spoiled Terrence's plan, right? The whole, like, I mean, do we really think that Terrence is going to have that much influence over the jury anyway? I don't know. I'm not super confident in that. But, yeah, Michael, very smart to include that in his speech so the jury will hear about it. Sean Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. And Sean says, Brittany, their crazy eyes need to go. Damn. I hate when people play the game for second place. I can't wait for BB Comics and to see a jury segment soon. Right? I feel like we're definitely due for some jury segments. We're overdue. I guess there's just been so much happening in the house that they didn't need to go to the jury because I feel like in the past we've seen the jury after, like, just the first person was there, right? Or maybe we see the first person there and then the second person showing up. But I guess they haven't needed that filler. There's just been too much going on. But I'm curious to see how things are going over there. Callie, thank you so much for the super chat. And Callie says, why does Monty think he's a comp beast when he won one comp that was a crapshoot 6 weeks ago? Damn! I mean, yeah,
That's
right?
real.
He hasn't performed well. He's really banking on, he keeps saying, like, some sort of comp with, like, balls in it. What's his sport? He plays a sport, right?
I don't remember.
I don't know which one it is, but he's very confident that he will win if the competition includes balls, or if it's the one where you have to catch things. So we'll see. I don't know, but
his sport's catching balls.
I don't know. But I want to thank you all so much for being here. I hope you're all having a wonderful Labor Day, and we will be back tomorrow for our next spoiler. So we'll see you all then, and until next time, much love. Oh, Bowie. Bye, everybody. Bye.